Hello, this is Matt Kalick, and this is the podcast and social hour. I am with
Just Giozy.
and we are just going to have a little conversation here about what we've done over this week and maybe what our goals are for the next week or what our thoughts and opinions are. So, who wants to go first?
So, Matt, what did you and Duff do over the weekend?
Well, we didn't do much this weekend. We did something last weekend, right? We went to the drive-in.
Oh, you talked about that last week a little bit.
Yeah,
Or no, maybe you were talking about.
I was gonna go to the drive-in on Friday, but we didn't because we got rained out. But then, so Saturday we went, and they showed one different movie, and it was Gremlins.
The old one?
The original.
The original.
Oh, that's creepy.
And then I think it's okay.
Those little gremlins.
Yeah. And then we saw Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, which it was I don't know. I don't think it lived up to the hype that people were saying things. That people were saying, "Oh, it's not. It's good. It's good." And I was like, "Well, it was." I don't know. I mean, especially when he was doing things that not Venom, but Carnage. I've never seen him do in any book. Of course, if you do watch it, wait until after the mid-credit scene. That is about the only thing I would say to do. There's a big reveal there. But
What time did the movies get over?
what time we were there? We were. It was close.
We were out of there by,
It's almost midnight.
no, we was out of there by 11.
11.
Yeah.
I always say I can never stay awake, but I think I could stay up till 11.
I told him, I said, man, I don't know if I could stay awake all, but I did. Now, the movie didn't do much for me, that Venom, because I was telling Matt, I seen Venom had a series on one of the movie channels several years ago, and I kind of liked that. But when I watched this movie, it was just too much of the same thing over and over again, where the creature pops out of them and wants to eat people, and basically that's what the whole thing was about. Well, not all of it, but part of it was this.
It just
I
wasn't
got, I got bored
suspenseful
with
or
it.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, Venom. I mean, okay, this was made by.
Was it a snake?
No.
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm just saying. No, Venom was originally a Spider-Man villain.
Oh, gotcha.
He still is sort of, but he originally Spider-Man had this suit that he didn't know was a symbiote. He just thought it was a black suit. It's a whole complicated backstory, and they've retconned it numerous times. So, and then somehow in the comic books, oh no, I know how Eddie Brock got a hold of it in the comics. But in this movie, because they weren't doing anything with Spider-Man, they did away with that, and they're saying, okay, Venom just latched on to Eddie Brock because they need a host to survive on Earth.
Right.
And
Interesting.
and then and in this movie, this, what would you call that guy? he was a homicidal maniac. He was like, he was the guy who was in prison.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd call him.
A villain?
Yeah, he was a villain. The villain. He killed his grandmother. He killed his mother, his dad.
Sounds kind of gory.
Well, you don't see
You
that.
don't see
Oh,
that.
you don't?
see
Okay.
it. You see like a little doodle of him of it acting out. But and then but no, this guy, he bites Eddie, and that's how he gets a symbiote from him. Like it develops in him, and it's red, but that's not the way it happened in the comics.
So, is it called The Villain? The episodes that you watch, Duff? Like, what's it called? Like the series that
Venom.
Venom. Jeez, it hurts.
Venom. I still don't know where you've seen. I know there was a movie called Venom before this one, but a series? I don't remember a series.
Is it on Hulu or Netflix?
It was something like that, Showtime, or
yeah.
know.
Yep.
But it might have been called something else though. But it was based on the same guy, Tom Hardy, playing the guy and the creature that popped out of him and killed people. It might not have been called Venom. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
So what's playing next?
I don't. Well,
at the drive-in, do you know?
No, I don't know. I think they said something about wasn't it like
Isn't it like Halloween or something?
I don't know. Isn't
One of
it
the Halloween movies or something?
or didn't they say something like oh God, what are those Addams Family? Aren't they?
Oh, the Addams Family.
The Addams Family 2, the animated version.
Oh.
But no, me and Duff, not this next Friday, we're hoping to go see Dune. And I've sort of talked about that, and it's one of my favorite books. What about you? I know you enjoy it.
Well, yeah, I've read the Dune series books.
Yeah, I've read
from the
some of
19 way back before you two were even born.
Well, yeah. Well, I've read some. I've listened to some of them too.
Yeah, the Dune universe.
It's a very vast.
Once you start getting into these,
a rabbit
How
hole.
many books are there?
A lot.
Oh, I'd say upwards of 20 of them now.
Who's the author?
It started as Frank Herbert,
Oh.
and he made a series of them, and then his son and
This other guy.
and Brian Anderson. No, I'm sorry, Brian Herbert, the original author's son, and then Kevin Anderson. They took over from there, and they started making several different series of the.
What are they about?
They're about all these different worlds and different factions of people and beings and places, and how they all come together with each other.
It's almost like a space opera. I would say it's like a really deep space opera, because that's what I usually call Star Wars, but this is definitely, there's even there's Paul Atreides, who's almost like a Jesus, what do they call that analogy for, or the chosen one or something. There's Gerties, and there's the, oh God, I can't remember all the names.
So where are you guys seeing it at?
Probably Pickway.
Oh, it's at the theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah, you would want to see that one at the
Oh yeah.
theater. Yeah.
Is it gonna be scary?
It's not scary.
It's not really scary.
No.
Jason Momoa is going to be in it.
I don't follow.
Oh, you don't know?
I'm sorry.
You don't know who?
I don't know who any of those people are that you were
No,
talking
I
about.
thought she might know who Jason Momoa is.
How would I
because,
know him?
Well, you probably don't watch much
Let's see.
social media.
What movie would she maybe have seen a preview of?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's Aquaman.
Aquaman.
He was in Game of Thrones. He's
Okay.
been in several of those, like movies where Viking,
Oh, okay.
like where he played in. He's
A big burly guy?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm following now.
yeah. He's a big burly guy. He's and he's married to isn't she the one who was on the Huxtables? I think she was. She was the lightest skin, one of them that. She was on the Jeffersons, I think. Not Jeffersons. But no, Jason. He's playing. Oh, he's not playing Gertie's. He's playing the. I think he's playing the guy who meets up with the Furman. Like, you know, the guy who the Duke sends out to try to negotiate with the Furman.
The whole Dune series was built around the planet Arrakis, which was a sand planet. Okay, and they called it Dune.
Because you basically go there, you're gonna die.
And these big gigantic sandworms control the desert. And the spice. There's something called the spice.
Spice melange.
It heightens people's awareness in the whole. You know, it's like it gives you.
It
gives you depth and meaning into what's happening in the whole universe.
Oh.
The spice. So it's craved.
So, like
by,
your frontal lobe, it kind of sinks.
Well, it's craved by all the wealthier people on all the planets.
The people who live there, they breathe it in. It's in the air. It's in
So
the
it tricks
food.
them?
Huh?
Does it trick them?
No,
No.
it doesn't
No.
trick 'em. It just enhances.
There's a spice.
Because remember The Giver kind of, where they had to get insulin or whatever the case may be after, so that they were all.
No, this is in heightened. There's these people on Arrakis. They're native people, and they're called Fremen. They're not native there because nobody's native to Arrakis. They just eventually ended up there.
I was looking something, not to change the
That's
subject.
fine.
I was looking on the Sydney Theater's website. It kind of reminded me of an event. They are having a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah.
You ever seen that?
No.
And it's because I know you mentioned you'd like to go there sometime. Just not eating the popcorn if it's the same woman that made it.
God, that's
Well, this is where the Sydney Theater.
It's at the Sydney Theater, and it's on October 22nd. You're going to be out when I tell you what time, Duff. It's October 22nd and October 23rd. It's on a Friday and Saturday, and it's at midnight.
Oh my God.
Why would you be out on that?
I can't stay up that late.
Oh,
Yeah. So I guess
I would have a really terrible day the next day.
oh, sorry.
If I didn't get home till 2 or 3 in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That would kill
It's just
kill
for
me.
the people that like the night owls, I guess you can say. But anyway, so the ticket, if you buy a ticket, it's your entry into the show. And the entry for there's like a pre-show, and that starts at 10:30, and that's a dance party, which anybody that may like to dance, can go to that. So the dance party is from 10:30 to 11:45, and then there's a costume contest, and it's called a virgin sacrifice.
Oh my God. I know, yeah, you're talking about the whole, have you guys, either one of you seen the rocker, I can't say it now.
The Rocky Horror.
Yeah,
I haven't.
I don't
No,
think I would,
I haven't.
I don't think I would want to go to that. Thank you for the information, but
No, it's okay, but we have listeners, so they might want to.
yeah, if anybody wants to,
Anyways, and at midnight, if you're only interested in watching the film, but you're not interested in, you know, the stuff that happens before then, you can show up at midnight and you can just watch the movie. So on here it says it's strictly for ages 18 and up. Tickets are $12. So yeah, I was just kind of throwing that event out there. It sounds like, you know, something interesting. Maybe not for everyone, but for those that like to dance and dress up and all of that. It sounds like there's a few different things that people could do.
do you know what the attire is for the Rocky Horror? It's usually thongs and leotards.
Oh, okay.
It's you know, it's very burlesque.
Oh. It says come dressed up as your favorite character and be entered into a costume contest.
Heck no, man.
Well, it may not be for you, but if you wanted to stay up till midnight, you could just go and watch the movie.
Yeah.
They do have a haunted house too, that if anybody likes haunted houses. They have a lot of stuff. They have a Glaze and Go.
What's a glaze and go? Is that that pottery you mentioned?
Yes. It is Thursday, October 21st from 6:30 to 7:30.
So what, you just glaze something? You don't actually sculpt it?
Well, do you want me to read the information?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was going to say I can, but I don't have to because I really don't know. So let's see. It's called Glaze and Go, and I'm reading this directly from the Historic Theater's website. The article says this class is a fun instructional class offered by a local artist, Kelly Walker. And it's a step-by-step lesson on glazing your own sculpture that you can keep. It's an adult class, and you can bring your own beverage or purchase water or drinks at the concession stand. And it looks like October 21st is the first date, but then it goes all the way up until 2022 to July 21st. And it's $30 for people that aren't members of the Historic Theater, and then if you are a member of the theater, then it's only $20.
Okay.
So it sounds kind of cool. They have a bunch of.
What do you do?
Well, it's a glaze and go, so you go there and you make a sculpture, and they give you, Kelly Walker's the instructor, so she'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to create.
Well, sculpting is usually the first step. Glazing is the last step.
Yep.
Yeah, how, I wonder though how you would glaze something that's still
I know.
wet or whatever, not
Yeah,
dry.
you need to fire it. You need to fire it once to be.
That's from 6:30 to 7:30. A shot of art. The first Thursday of every month. So if anybody's bored on a Thursday, check out the City Theater's website because it sounds like they've got stuff going on the third Thursday, the first Thursday, and the second Thursday.
Yep. So we were talking about fluoride earlier. I know you, Duff, that you don't think fluoride's that. You just mentioned you don't think it is as good as it's cracked up to be.
Well, it's got some side effects to it that people don't talk about. Okay?
We were talking about that because our little Jessica was talking about her little redhead child's got to go have some dental work done. I know what that's like.
I know.
How is he?
He's good. He just doesn't, he's 3, so it's hard to get him to sit still.
Mm-hmm.
For any part of time. I mean, he'll sit, like, he can remain calm if he's watching TV or something like that, but if he's being forced to sit still, I don't think any 3-year-old would willingly.
Okay, you want to hear this?
Sure.
Toxicity of fluoride, critical evaluation of evidence for human developmental neurotoxicity in epidemiological studies, animal experiments, and vitro analysis.
English.
And
In
they
English?
saying like sometimes it can have side effects during.
It can reduce measures of intelligence in children.
Neuro. That's okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
And
Okay.
in vitro.
And because of that, it places it in the same category as toxic metals like lead and mercury and arsenic. It said, if true, this assessment would be highly relevant, considering the widespread fluoridation of drinking water. So you see, there's a downside of that fluoride.
Because I'm pretty sure all of my kids get some sort of treatment at the dentist just to help seal their teeth. And I don't really remember what it's called, but I thought it was a fluoride treatment. I could be wrong. So I wonder what they're suggesting would be a good alternative, a safer alternative.
Right. And what you're talking about is, I know some kids get what they call sealants.
Yes.
And
Is
they
that what that is?
Yeah, and it's
fluoride?
like something where a potential cavity could, and it kind of fills that in. It's a kind of a temporary thing. It's not a permanent thing. But yeah, and this fluoride toxicity, it's been around for a while, but it's not talked about that much in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, huh?
That doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me.
Yeah. I know. I think when my nephew, he was young, he still had his baby teeth, and he got caps. And I was like, why are you capping baby teeth? I don't know what he's gonna lose them.
I know, that doesn't make much sense. Does it make sense to you?
Well,
Kids?
I guess if it's one of his baby teeth and he's going to lose it, that would be something that maybe I would consider with Jonas. I don't know, just so, because if it's especially his front teeth, they get nasty and brown, and that's just really embarrassing.
Okay.
I had cavities when I was younger in the front, and my self-esteem was I just felt really, I didn't want to smile because it was really gross looking. And so maybe they cap them and especially if they hurt. My cavities hurt. It was super sensitive to cold and hot, so maybe the cap helps, protect it. And if you pull it out, then you're losing that space. Because your teeth could shift forward or.
I don't know anything about.
So
about,
I can kind of understand the caps.
Yeah.
There would be nothing there in that hole to keep the teeth tight and aligned. So they would shift. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I think at one point they wanted to give me braces, but I never did get the braces because I got this underbite and
That's okay. I'm 68 years old, and I'm going to be getting a retainer for some of my lower teeth.
So do you think you got all the wood you need for this winter yet, Duff? To chop down?
I'm getting close now.
If you need some wood, come by our house.
Why?
We had lightning. Gosh, it was probably 2 months ago, honestly. As embarrassing as that sounds, but we still have the tree down from when lightning struck it. We just haven't had time to burn it. We set some aside for firewood, but we just have to burn it. It was
How
a
big's
pine
this
tree.
A pine tree?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I can't burn pine in a wood stove.
Never mind.
No, that's campfire wood. You can do a campfire and open fireplace fire, but
Yeah.
not in a wood stove.
Yeah.
Hear that, guys? No pine in your wood burning stove.
It's a good tip.
Yes, it is.
But I burn upwards of 4 cords a year.
Do ya?
Yeah, so I cut it and split it too.
Oh.
But
Well, I should have called you to come do it. The guy only charged us $100 to cut our tree up for us. We just didn't have him haul it away.
well, I tell you, that's not a bad price considering what I've heard people charging. So you got a good
I was
deal.
very thankful.
Yeah. So you
It's
did
who
all
you
right.
know. My grandpa knew a guy that he worked with, and yeah, so we called him on the limb, and he came right out that same day. I was really surprised.
Oh my.
He chopped it up for us and put it in piles, like, you know, the big sticks, and so yeah.
So you don't live in town?
No, we live out in the country. Gosh, it's probably about an 8 or 12 house cul-de-sac. So we're in the country. We live on a 1/4 acre lot, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
Sydney
say so.
address still?
Maplewood address.
Maplewood. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's getting fall. What do you guys think of this weather out? I mean, it's sort of warmer today, but it's I guess as you talked earlier, Duff, it's going to get rain.
I know. That's another reason why we haven't burnt our tree, because every time we can burn it, it's too wet. Or it's too hot. You know, nobody wants to go out there and burn wood when it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has been a very hot summer and fall.
Yes.
I mean, this is just unbelievable having 70s to 80s in the middle of October almost. So I am looking forward to the cool weather.
Yes, we live in Ohio for a reason. I love the 4 seasons.
I like that. Yeah.
I like the seasons and how
do
they
too.
change. But
I like fall and spring. That's my 2 favorite.
yeah, nobody wants to go to a pumpkin patch and do all the fall things and have to wear shorts and be sweating all over the place.
Yeah.
And fall's almost over and we still haven't been to a pumpkin patch for that reason.
Yeah. And speaking of, well, we're in October. I mean, I guess some people call it the spooky season, but the spooky. What's the creepy? What do you think the creep? Has anybody ever seen anything? Anybody ever seen anything creepy? What's the worst creepy thing, or what's your worst scare you guys ever had?
I mean, when I think of scare, like, there's different types of scare.
Like scared so much you think you're gonna pass out or have a heart attack?
Well, no, I know, but like if something happens to my kid, that scares me. Or are you talking about
Like something sudden startle you or something
like a startle, like pee your pants situation?
Oh yeah, or
Well, some things I don't want to mention on tape, okay? But other than that, yes, I did have one when I was younger. My parents were away on vacation. I think I just turned 18, and my younger brother, me and him was at the house. And we had a little dog, her name was Pumpkin. And it's probably about 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And we were getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden we heard this odd noise outside, like a machine or something. We didn't know what it was. And then we heard this thumping on the roof. And the dog and little Pumpkin charged the front door and banged right into that door. And we heard thumping on the roof, and we got kind of scared. Like, what the? What is up there?
Right. What was
So
it?
we ended up going outside, but there was nothing there. which made the mystery even more intense because it's like.
So you never went
what
outside
was-
to...
Yeah, we did, but there was nothing up there. No, there was no gargoyle standing up there staring down at us. So we're aliens, so we don't know what the heck that was all about. But whatever it was, that little dog, it got her all worked up too and startled and
Did you have there was no, you didn't have like a tree growing close to your house, did you?
well, yeah, there was maple trees in the front yard. And a
Wonder
big
if it was
sycamore
like
tree. There's a big giant sycamore right behind the house.
Or
But
something was dropping on the roof.
no,
from the
no,
tree.
but they were away from the house.
Oh, so they weren't right up close.
No, you couldn't have jumped from the trees or into the. It was the strangest thing.
What about you?
Oh gosh, I have strange things happen to me all the time.
Like what?
I don't know, just strange things all the time.
You're a strange one yourself.
I'm trying to think of something that's happened recently. It's hard, like when you get put on the spot real quick about something strange, but I just know strange things that maybe have happened to me in the past where it just kind of makes me jump. Or some people believe in spirits, some people don't believe in spirits. You know, it's just kind of one of those things where we could go both ways with it.
Yeah.
But my grandpa's upstairs, I swear there was something going on up there. And I would see shadows. I mean, just crazy, like just, you know, things that you can't even really put into words, just like a feeling. And I would instantly get goosebumps and just run downstairs because I just felt something up in his, you know, upstairs, my grandma and grandpa's. And, you know, they used to joke and say, you know, it was my grandma's mom because she had died in the house. And there was just, you know.
Was it your grandparents' house?
Yes. Yeah. And then, yeah, I just get, I don't know what it is, but weird things happen that just make me jump like that a lot.
I've had some strange things happen to me. One of the weirdest things that have happened, I got scared by a coat.
Isn't it so funny? Like some of the smallest things that just scare the
I'm like,
jeebers out of you.
I think it was my grandmother's coat, but she had it in the kitchen, and that thing, every time I would go in the kitchen, for a while, I would go in the kitchen, and then I'd look, I was like the dang coat got me again. And then,
Boy, if I was your grandma, I would have put a hat up.
Exactly.
well, I've gotten her a lot of times. Like I would hide in the stair steps, and like when she walks by, I would go, "Dah!" like that out there. But now what I've been doing is she doesn't like things to be out of place, so I turn the bottles of things backwards. But she doesn't notice it until I point it out anyways. She's like, "You put that bottle back the way it was."
I can hear her saying that.
But no, there was one time when I was younger, I thought I saw something on the roof of my house. I slept. Do you guys know where Comanche Drive is?
Yes.
I lived out there for a little while with my grandfather and my grandma, and for some reason, I walked outside. I just walked out the door, and they said I was walking around the house, just walking around. That has to be one of the strangest things I've ever done. Anybody ever had sleep paralysis?
I mean, I slept with my mom till I was a teenager, so I get freaked out by everything.
Really?
Oh, yes. And
So until you were 13?
well, I don't know, quite 13, and then when they kicked me out of the bed, I slept beside the bed. I'm a scaredy cat, so any little thing.
Good thing Maya's not like that.
Well, listen, Maya slept with me till she was 13 too.
Really?
Also, like
And then my
like
mom
daughter,
slept
yeah.
with his mom, or with her mom and dad, till she was older. So I mean, but my youngest three, they don't sleep with me. Thank goodness. I mean, if they do sometimes, like if they come in the middle of the night,
Oh,
I let them sleep with me. But sleep paralysis,
yeah.
what is that?
Well, usually what it is, it's like, okay, it's okay, when you're asleep, half of your brain is still awake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, keeps you, everything still working. And then it's usually what it is sleep paralysis is you wake up before the rest of you wake up. So you're
still in REM.
yeah, or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can't move.
Oh my gosh, yes, I have.
Yes,
And it's always you're dying, you're falling, something. I've fallen off a bunk bed before doing that.
yeah, and I was just like, luckily for me, when it happened to me, I was laying on my stomach, and I was just like, it's like, what the heck's going on? It's like, and people have related this to like, maybe this is why people think of, demonic possession or alien abduction and stuff like that. They're thinking this is why people think this has happened to them, like they're frozen up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've definitely gone through that. But I have nightmares all the time. I used to, not so much anymore, but I have vivid dreams, very vivid
I
dreams.
don't have too many vivid. When you dream, do you see what's going on, or is it just like you can see the outline? It's dark when I dream.
Oh yeah, I can see things very clear.
Oh yeah, people, places,
Not
conversations.
Yep.
Not
But
so
I can
much.
tell you, when you get older, that it dries up substantially.
Good.
Yes. Yeah, the older you get, the more you. It's either you don't remember them, or you just don't do it as much.
Not my grandmother. No, she dreams about every night, and she says she dreams the weirdest stuff. No,
Well, sometimes if you eat chocolate before bed, and a few times I've taken melatonin, and it's given me really terrible nightmares.
hear that, people? Don't mix melatonin and chocolate.
Yeah, don't. It's not good. Before bed, it is not a good idea.
Yep, don't mix the melatonin and chocolate. But no, when I was telling you, it was a headache getting that last video uploaded onto that channel. I figured out what was, first getting it onto the software, and then getting it into YouTube. Figured out what was with the YouTube, what was wrong with the YouTube, because you have to verify your account to make it to allow longer videos. Okay. And so,
Well, it sounds like you and Amy are going to get it figured out.
yeah. Oh, so you did talk to her? I talked to her too.
I'm a woman of my word.
Yep.
Amy Berger.
No. Amy Deffenbald? Or not Deffenbald?
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan.
Okay.
Kerrigan. Why? Kerrigan also, I've heard that name before too. Why have I heard that name before I met her? Kerrigan.
Well, I don't know, but I will tell you, when you were asking about weird things that happen, when I was younger, back in the 1970s, 80s, I used to fox hunt all over, southwestern Ohio and over in the eastern side of Indiana, all the way up and down the state. You go out and you hunt all night long and come back when, breaking daylight. And you see some really weird things when you're...
Where were you at?
No,
state?
we're way out in the country, see, because
In
we're fox
Ohio?
hunting in Ohio and
Okay.
Indiana, way in the way out away from people.
In the boondocks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then some.
And you travel all over the place because you back then you used electronic callers to call a fox in and you shoot them. And yeah, you would see some of the weirdest things that people out at 2 and 3 in the morning when it's 0 degrees wearing t-shirts walking down the road, there's no house for miles. You'd see weird stuff like that regularly. I know one time in particular, I remember this real vividly. There was this a real long curve on this. It was like a dirt gravel road over in Indiana. And we called right at the edge of the roads.
The fox.
The fox. We called calling them in, so
Yeah.
we could get them. Cause
They weren't calling for a pizza.
No, because back then the pelts were worth $40, $50 a piece, see? And we'd get anywhere from 4 to 8 of them a night. So my friend Mike was up in the front and we had headlights mounted on with red beams on them, and you'd always be scanning, looking to pick up the eyes, because the red light would pick their eyeballs up, and that's what you would aim for. So one of us he took the front and I'd take the back, and one night and I was back there and I was scanning around like this. And the moon was out that night, and I could see going around that curve. I thought, what is that down there?
The light?
You
His light?
No, I just saw this shadow on the road and it was moving. And I'm still scanning, with my gun up like this, ready to shoot. And it got closer and closer.
Oh my word, I'd have peed my pants.
What is that? Is it a deer? And it got about 50 yards away, and I thought, it's a man. And I thought, what in the world is he doing? He knows we're hunting. For crying out loud, we got lights and stuff, and he's got to see our guns lit up in the lights, and he's coming right for us. Whoa. And I grabbed my friend and said, let's get out of here. This guy's a lunatic. Coming up to us like that. But who knows what, 3, 4 in the morning. It was just really.
He wasn't wearing any, of the, those vests or anything.
But we didn't wait around.
I wouldn't have either.
Well, we had other things too, where we'd pull off the road and we'd set up our collar and and it made squealing sounds, that attract the fox.
That's so mean.
And sometimes.
Did you ever get a white one?
No. Sometimes, and this happened in the Bell Fountain area a couple different times, where there was like there's field and woods, where you heard something coming through the woods. You could hear the sticks breaking and the weeds and stuff, and you'd say, that's not no fox. You can't even hear them. They're so dainty.
Yeah. I think it was a deer.
And these things they would stay right at the edge of the woods, and you'd see these big eyeballs, like looking out at you. And they wouldn't come any closer.
It's probably Sasquatch.
They kind of give you this real funny feeling, like, what is that? They're standing back there, hidden at the edge of the woods, watching this, And so it gives you this creepy feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know, by the way, do you know what, like all different states usually has a name for, like Sasquatch. You know what it is in Ohio?
It's not Sasquatch?
No, not in Ohio.
What is it?
They call it grass man.
Oh, I watched, me and Frank, my husband, we watched a
Documentary?
Yeah. And I want to say they called him Sasquatch, but it was, the man went around to different areas where in the woods and stuff like that. And it's pretty serious. I mean, people lose their lives going deep into the woods trying to find this unknown creature, and people kill. When I was watching this, I think it was on Hulu or Netflix, and I don't even remember.
Are you talking about the one where the guy thought he was like, he heard the story about he was growing pot up in the woods.
Yeah, I bet it's the same one.
That's the one I watched.
There's different scenarios though.
Yeah, 'cause
In
they
the
were-
one, they get so close and then they die. I believe it. I don't know. Believe what you want, but I don't think you can. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not real.
Well, I disagree, and I'll tell you
You
why.
disagree?
I'll tell you why. Modern day hunters, deer hunters, they got trail cameras up. So you got millions of these trail cameras set up in on every possible woods and trail across this country now. You know, there's a few exceptions, but overall, everything's blanketed with trail cameras now. Don't you think that they would have picked one of them up by now?
I mean, you have all these pot farms that
Yeah.
haven't been detected, and
Well,
you know, I think that's
yeah, but pot farms don't run around and where
Unless-
a camera might be. They're stationary, see?
I think they're very smart creatures. I don't know. I
But
don't.
they can't, but
I think there's
humans can't-
creatures that
Humans will go by, you could walk by a trail camera and never know it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've never really been that deep into the woods. Like I'm talking where maybe humans haven't been. I believe there's places on
No,
the earth where humans
there's-
haven't ever been.
But in our country, that's
Yeah.
not too, that's,
I know it's hard.
everything's pretty much been ran over in our
Yeah.
country.
There are some still,
Yeah.
there are still some rainforests in our country. I don't know if you know this, but there are rainforests. They're not your typical rainforest. But
I mean, if you go to Colorado, there's different areas that I often think when I travel, wonder how a person could get up there. You know, I mean, obviously around here in Ohio, I would never suggest there be anything, and I don't necessarily think its name is Sasquatch or anything like that. I just think there's creatures out there that we don't know that, we never knew existed. I know my grandpa, he's from Kentucky, and it would be interesting for you guys to hear his stories because he is very serious. No, all jokes aside, he has seen things in the 40s and 50s and heard things that
I know
I would never question.
I know I wanted to ask people, I said, what is your favorite cryptid? And or maybe draw your favorite cryptid, but
What's a cryptid?
a cryptid like a Bigfoot or something that science has not yet,
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite, to be honest with you.
like there's the Mothman, there's
What's the creature one in the water? What's that called?
you talking about it, are you talking about in Ireland? I think it's in
You mean
Ireland.
the Loch Ness Monster?
Yes. Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
That, and I mean mermaids.
Mermaids, and well, sirens were typically described as like mermaids, but they're actually more bird-like. But yeah.
I mean, I think there's depths of the ocean too that.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've just recently found that in the last 30 years that giant squid and octopi exist. Never been able to breed them, or we've only been really able to find them dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up now. This is Matt Kalick signing off, and Duff.
And Jess, everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Yep. Hope to hear from you soon, and you hear us as well. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Hope you will join us next time. Hope you enjoyed it. We record on Fridays mostly, and hope to get them out as soon as possible. And we will continue to do to the best of our ability and bring you good information. Ha 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 ha.